Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Local Pundit. I am Josh Anthony. This is your Ring and Rant phone-in show. Yes, I am not Ken. I have been called the reliever in real quick, call in the righty, bring him in real quick. Ken's got work to do. He didn't oversleep. No, he's got work to do. So I've been called in to host the show tonight. And this show, again, I'm usually a listener on this show. So I'm not going to say much tonight. I've had my say yesterday. I know there was the call-in show right after the show, the Wrexham time. So I'm going to sit back. I'm going to be the moderator of just like who's coming in to help me out and host the show tonight and have your say. RingNRant, pump up the volume. Fans Fury Football. Here we go. Match week 12. Have your say about anything. So please help me out tonight. Backup is okay. I don't know what that means. What is it? Backup is okay. No idea, Paul. I have no idea what that means. But anyways, we're coming in. It's the RingNRant show. It's the Sunday show. So don't make me sit here and alone. Call in. Have your say. RingNRant. Have it in. Let's go. I want to get top of the line thoughts. Like I said, I know we had it all like 4 shows yesterday. We had the game against Middlesbrough. I want to know what you think. What's coming on with Cardiff City, with Coventry City. So just come in and have your say. Yes, I am the backup to Ken. Yes, I am totally back up to Ken. Yes, because Ken is the man, and I am just absolute poop. I am the white poop in Step Brothers. There you go. Reed from SoCal's in here. Mike Shane. Have to get more chances out of the striker position. Moore is a big body, but lacks the quality to make an impact. When holds the ball up, there is no support to make it work. Put in Sam Smith. Well, Mike Shane, why don't you come in and have your say? You know, don't put it in the chat. I'm not going to read out anyone's chat tonight. I want you to come in and have your say. This is what Ring and Rant is all about. Ring and Rant. Let's go. Paul Kelly, George is here, and I'm in here. So until someone comes in, we're just going to sit here. I'm going to tell you briefly about what I thought about yesterday as we did. There's the player ratings right here after the draw. I'll do that. I'm going to wait for the first person to come in because I've had my say. I'm going to let everyone do that here too. So just as you know, yesterday was the match against Middlesbrough. We drew 1-1, but it was not all lost yesterday, but I'm going to give you the top of the line of where they put everyone in on their player rating. So the link is in the chat. Get in there. When you're thrown in, let's go. Let's go. Paul Kelly, Josh is a game day guru. Danger, man. There you go. Parky Keep. George Jones. I'm not putting it up. You want to come have your say? Come up. Have your say. I'm not putting any more of the chat up. In fact, here we go. You want to have your say? Ring and Rant? Let's go. Pulling the chat down. Not going to do it tonight. I'm going to do what I want to do because I've savagely come in and taken care of the backup business for Ken. Ken is working his ass off. But what I will do until someone comes in, I will give the player ratings for yesterday. AO, here's how it goes down on Leader Live. They give him a 7. They give him a 7. This is for the game yesterday against Middlesbrough, of course. Good point away from home. Not kept too busy, but pulled off a superb save to prevent Burrow from snatching victory. Yes, I thought AO was good. Give him a 7 for sure. That's probably one of his best games so far. Max Cleworth got a 7 as well. Don't know about that one. Didn't put a foot wrong and continues to handle the step up to the championship against very good sides. I think I would give him a 6.5. Max didn't impress me all too much compared to who else got out there too. Dominic Hyam switched to the left at the back 3 when Brunt went off, was just a solid and played a very superb pass. Very superb passes. 8 for him. I thought Dominic Hyam was great. I think Dominic Hyam is probably one of our best acquisitions so far this season. Yes, I thought he was fantastic moving over, and I think that puts Doyle down a step, which not getting into the team. So there it is right there. And Dan Scar is going to come in and do his business. Lewis Brunt back in the side and started well, went off injured in the first half. 6. Really can't mark him for anything. Issa Gabori has been more of an attacking threat, but his defending, it's weird writing tonight. back in the side and started well, but went off. No, it's Lewis Brown. He has been more of an attacking threat, but his defending to nullify Burrow was superb. Okay, there it is right there. There you go. There it is right there. And the savior has come in. I told you I'm not putting up anything until they come in. And there you go. I'm doing it. 3, 2, 1. You're coming in. I'm not putting anything up tonight. How you doing? Wasn't doing it.
Josh, doing well tonight.
Yeah.
Coming through okay?
Huh?
Coming through okay? Can you hear me good?
I got you perfect. You looks like you're in the living room today, not in the office. What's going on, my friend?
Oh, I'm just I'm down in Ocracoke, North Carolina. So I'm about 30 miles offshore on the island of Ocracoke at the moment here.
You're at 30 miles offshore off of okay.
On Ocracoke Island. Ocracoke's off the coast of North Carolina. I would just put a new roof on the place here, and we got a big storm coming over the next couple of days, so I figured I'd make certain that it's not going to fall apart on me here, and there's no leaks or anything that I come back to. So hanging out for a few days, watching some Wrexham, catching up on some of my past videos, watching some of the other games. Watched the Middleborough, not the Middleborough game, but the Southampton game. Ooh, okay. Blackburn Rovers beating Southampton. That was tough. That was tough.
We should have beat that. We should have beat Southampton too. In my opinion, there you go. It is the Ring and Rant show, so I'm going to bring in Habs with you too. You guys had a great conversation.
We need Habs.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Habs, you're in too. Let's go.
Yeah. What's going on, everyone?
All right.
Habs keeps me straight on whether AO is 6'7" or 6'5". So I appreciate having Habs on. He brings that depth of knowledge.
I think he's 6'5", right?
The problem is there's tons of different sources saying he's either 6'5", 6'6", or 6'7". So there's no one actually really knows what his height is.
Well, Habs, I will tell you this. I watched them walk next to each other on the field, and AO is taller. So we'll give him at least 6'6" or 6'7", I think.
Yeah.
Is he taller than more?
What I came on to say really briefly was, Parkey held Thomason out for a long time, but when he came in as a starter, I mean, he delivered. I was shocked at how good he was.
Yeah. Why so? What do you see about him?
Quick, handles the ball well, makes good decisions in the center of the field. Mm-hmm. That was the one thing I love Dabo's energy. Now we're in the championship. He's gotten better and better and better, but Dabo still worries me ever so slightly in that he seems to pick up fouls on our side of the field near the penalty box a lot.
Over and over again. I said he has to show for sure. Yeah, he does. Yep.
Yeah, I do feel vindicated. I know you were mentioning in my office at least a couple weeks ago when we were talking. You were asking me if I was an AO guy, and I said I was all in on AO. He's going to get better and better because the one thing you can't teach is being a 6'7" giant with a 12-foot wingspan, stopping shots, and he has every game. I think this year AO has gotten better. I really do. I think he's going to be one of the top 2-3 goalkeepers in the championship by the end of the year.
I think getting sat has come out for sure. I agree with that. Habs, you want to touch on the Dobson conversation and then maybe hit into the AO conversation?
For Dobson, he is. I think I said this on Rich. He's only really doing what he can do in the position that he's going to be putting himself in because he's very defensive in what he has to do. So he's basically hunting everyone down to get that ball off of him. So his defensive duties are on point when he has to, but he has done that same mistake. He did it in the Southampton match, and
3 times at least.
Yeah, he's done that. He's done that 3 times, where he gets a foul just outside of the box, and you just think, he could have been better. You shouldn't have gotten the foul right there. But it's the nature of the position that he's been put into, and the fact that he has to do this the entire 90 minutes. But then again, he's improved as well. So this is the first time he's ever been in the championship. He spent most of the last nearly 10 years with Charlton. So
yep. On that note, Jill, I'll put it back to you, George, and then to Habs as well. I watched the game back, and I really enjoyed our forward movement. I really enjoyed us being on the front foot. I know we drew yesterday, and everyone's excited about that draw. I'll tell you, I think Parkinson is getting it wrong for setting back and taking on pressure. I think at some point he needs to realize that he has a team that is as good as offensive as going forward, and to soak up this whole really good without the ball thing. I think he's obsessed with that, and I actually think it's his Achilles heel, and he's holding us back a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in just 1 second here. Back to Dabo. We have been relying on him so much and running his legs off so much. I think that is the actual thing that led to the goal in this past game.
Yep.
It was Dabo who left. It was it Hackney, I think, who scored that shot. I think it was Dabo who left. Left Hackney unmarked there a little bit. And I think just a little bit tired. I mean, he doesn't get tired like Moore gets tired, but we're asking a lot of him. I'm not sure what Habs thinks about that, but I don't know. That's what it looks like to me.
It will hit. Habs going to hit that before we move on to the other thing about Parkinson.
About Parky, yeah.
What in regards to being attacking more? I mean,
do you think we're just endlessly working him to the point where he starts to make mistakes later in the game because we're asking him to run his ass off every single game, just all the time? Because I think it was like we were talking about Dobson, who left Hackney unmarked, that led to the goal, and I think that was just a question of being a little bit tired at that point of the game. But that's how I saw it. I'm not sure what you thought about that, Habs.
I mean, he's the first line of defense. He is. So whenever someone's trying to get to him, he's always there, just trying to poach the ball off of them every time. So he's got no choice but to do that. And I think that's kind of, I mean, he's been set to do a particular role under Parky, and at the same time, he's probably got particular duties. He's been told by Parky and Parkin what he's supposed to do and what he's going to have to do to try and prevent us from conceding any kind of goals. And he's the guy that's going to have to try and stop as many things as he can, and that requires having a loss of energy to be able to stop. So it's the nature of the beast for the position he's in. Mm-hmm. So it will get to the point where he's going to get tired. And sure, there was a lapse of defense. There was a lapse of defense in that moment where he didn't manage to stop the ball from going in because it was headed in. But we're against a team that is currently second. I said I'm going to use excuse FC if we either lose or draw anyway. And look, they're far stronger than us in terms of attack, and they were using far more dark arts. They were. So
Ailing was embarrassing. He was embarrassing when he came on yesterday, for sure. He was embarrassing.
Unbelievably. They were all doing it. I mean, just the yellow card on O'Brien is just why would you? Apparently, it was for impeding a free kick.
There's the pass in, the inbounds. Yeah.
Absurd.
And the ref was ridiculous.
It never gets called.
No, it never gets called. That ref that's probably one of the worst referees I've ever seen. And then to that point, going back, listen, I'm not going to blame a ref, but the ref was completely one-sided. In my opinion, it's a fan show. They're not going to come after us. Definitely, the ref was absolute shit. But I talked about the Achilles heel of Parkinson. I think is him being too defensive and not being offensive. When I watched the game back, I'm like, oh, we look so much better going forward than absorbing pressure. We're not going to get carved up and lose 4, 5, 6, 7. I know that's what his specialty is, but I think that Parkinson needs to unleash the hounds a little bit more because we are far better going forward. We are just as good at going forward as we are going back. So, yeah, that was my original going back to that for Jones.
How does that look to you, Josh? What are you envisioning in your head that Parky is setting the team up to do? Just what are you thinking when you say that? What's sort of in your mind? What are you looking for?
When I say that, it is giving them the ball, not being aggressive. Longman coming in, cutting in, taking the shot. Moving the ball left and right, getting on the front foot. I think that for whatever reason, Parkinson over and over again is just a grind it out, and Habs is there. Talks about too is just grind it out. Get on the front foot. Your offense is sometimes
defense first.
And I think that has been it's worked, but it's not. I think we could be a more effective team going forward, and he for whatever he just won't do it.
Did you want me to come in on this?
Habs.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, take it like this, where we are not the protagonists this season. So we have to take that into consideration. It's a two-horse race between
Habs. He's choosing to be that.
Not with the kind of teams we're going up against. Coventry and Middlesbrough have a far more core set of players that they've had to deal with, and they have a far more stronger attack than we would be able to handle. Now, that's not to say we don't have extremely high amounts of firepower, and they've been able to.
Mm-hmm.
They're much more in sync with each other than it would be for us.
Mm-hmm.
We have to take into consideration this is the first time we've been here in 40 years. We were just in the National League barely 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
Josh loves it when you say that.
Yeah, I get it. He's right. I mean, listen, he's not wrong. No one's wrong. But you see things when you watch things back and like, what are we doing sometimes? Someone attacks him like, what are we doing? Parkey's using the defense first thinking he started, so he will not change things. I agree with that. He's not going to change it. I know. Defense first, offense second. But, that's why we're dropping points at this point, in my opinion. But this is not what I want to have your say. You guys tell me what you think. I think we're dropping points because of his tactics. That's what I think.
But, I mean, take this into consideration that, sure, he's going to have to use a defense first kind of mindset as of right now. I mean, he generally is a defense kind of defensive. He's going to be using this kind of low block, haram ball, counter-attacking, going on the transition type of play. You don't see it all the time, or relying on set pieces, but and going very direct. But it doesn't. It can only work out so well when you've only just. It can work for certain teams, and it can work for us. The desire to want to keep going further forward, which we can do. However, we don't have the same kind of quality, the same kind of in sync type of play and drilled, highly organized and highly drilled type of play where we can keep going forward and just keep hammering them with firepower every time, because they can do that.
Yeah.
We're going to go up against Coventry. They will do that to us. They will just keep hammering us and hammering us and hammering us with attack. And there's not much we're going to be able to do other than to sit back against teams like this on the upper end of the championship.
I completely disagree with you. 100%. It's not about me. I 100% disagree with you. I 100% disagree with you. Sorry, George, have your say too. But Habs, well, he's got a right to come back to me, I guess. But I literally 100% disagree with you. But George, do you agree with me, him, or what do you have your own thoughts on this? Because I think no Coventry's flying. I 100% disagree with you. But go ahead, George.
Yeah, Josh, I love you, but I may agree with Habs a little bit more here. The thing that worries me going forward, when we talk about having the players to do this, the past few games, I have watched Longman and especially Kabori, for some reason, the past couple games, lose the ball a lot at their feet going forward.
Yeah.
Moore is never really good with the ball at his feet in the opposing end. Thomason was great, but he's not one of your primary attacking threats going into the box. I don't really think. Could we get there? I mean, maybe after January transfer window, change it, get even a little bit more on the front foot. But I actually kind of like the style of play. And once again, I think we'd be having a much different conversation today if Moore made that header. I mean, it was perfect Parkey ball. I mean, it was a fast break up on the left side. perfect chip by O'Brien into Moore. Moore had a ton of room. Instead of going high, if he had just gone low anywhere to his right, the goal was wide open right there. Wrexham win 2-1 or even 2-0. I think we had a much better chance of winning. So, I mean, the Parky ball setup he had for that game and the strategy he had for that game came this close to getting the win. And as it is, we got a point away at the number 2 team on the table.
Great point. It's a great 1 point away, for sure. It's a great point away. Yep, 100%.
What do you think about that, Habs? How do you feel about – I mean, have you noticed Kabore as well losing the ball a fair bit these past 2 games for some reason?
He has, but it's also to do with the kind of level that he plays at as well. I mean, I always try to look at it from like a far out view, as in, let's see what Kabore's career really has been. He has been effectively alone at almost everywhere he's been, and he hasn't had consistent starting. Wrexham is really his place where he's been a consistent starter. And sure, and in terms of level of skill, like he and like Broadhead are far more technical. They're far better at dribbling. They're far more. They have a significantly higher skill level and ceiling in terms of this. But he has also been passing as well, whether it be through the back to the side and stuff like this. But he's also being overloaded. Everyone knows that to stop our attack, one of our main vectors of attack has always been going through the right wing. And because nobody can touch Kabore in terms of speed-wise, he's effectively the fastest player that in probably the entire league. He can just literally run past them.
Yeah, he's probably the fastest player in the league, for sure.
And they know that trying to go after him is gonna. If you try and do a 1v1 kind of person on the wing, he's just gonna get past you. So what they have to do is use overloads on him, and that's why he's been basically shut down at that point. And that's what makes him difficult. So he has to go to passing.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago as well. And one of the things I was arguing was that if Kakache comes on, does Kakache produce enough of a threat on his side of the field to take the double marking off Kabore and make our overall attack more potent?
Only if we use the attack. What you saw yesterday was Middlesbrough were pushing the ball left side, right side. In the middle, they were doing that. We did that in the first half yesterday. And that's my argument of just like getting on that front foot and using the players we have to be offensive. Now, to your point, like you can get up. We have 2 real huge chances yesterday. We've missed one of them, took one of them, which is good. But it's a good conversation to have. Am I happy with the point? Of course. My job right now, what I'm looking at is we're going to Coventry City, and like Cardiff's a different story. We're going to Coventry City, who are flying. We're expected to lose that match. But talking about the waves and waves and waves, that is not a strategy. That is not a strategy. That is a losing strategy. An absolute, for me, a losing strategy. And we will get pumped 5-0 if we do that. That's my take. I mean, anyone can take that on. I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit bullish, but here, no one wants to take it on. But here, Mark says Kabore has also been passing back a lot because there's a double teaming when he's gone long when playing. And guys, you can fucking disagree with me. I don't care. Just we're just having a conversation. So don't be afraid to come back and say, hey, this is that. I don't care. Nikki D says, what's up, Chris? Mike Shane says Kabore has one trick. He does it well. He crosses. Kakachi can cross, but also can cut an attack. Now, yeah. But again, thoughts on that? Just give us what are your top of the line thoughts on all of that?
I know I'm a little bit worried that if we try a high-speed, front-footed attack against Coventry, especially Coventry, we may get shredded in transition, and there's where you get your 5-0 loss. Maybe I'm just too scared to imagine something like that, at least that sort of formation and attacking mentality against Coventry. I don't know. Habs, what do you think about that?
I don't think we just don't have the. I mean, Lampard has just been there for a while now, and he's got his core set of players. I mean, he's turned Haji Wright into a goal scorer.
Yeah.
But look, he wasn't like this in previous seasons. Now he's this immense goal scorer. He has whipped that team into a machine. He's got them disciplined. He's got them organized, and he's leading an army that can just basically.
And they're talented.
They're good.
Yeah, he's causing absolute
talented.
demolition works on every other team. So, there's a loud car there. But yeah, I mean, he can do that kind of thing with them. So
they're cooking. I picked them to go up. I picked them to go up. I think, we're going into this, we can't be scared, but it's going to happen. Whatever's Parker's going to be defensive first. But I rewatching the match. I'm like, oh my God, we're better going forward. And when we shell up, we just absorb too much pressure. If we do that against Coventry City, I think it's going to happen. And I think we're going to get rinsed. Chris says, shell up. And
it is painful to watch.
It is painful to watch. It's hard to watch. Yeah. And I love, I'm so happy with the point yesterday. Yes, I am, for sure. Again, I'm just trying to I just watching we have so much better talent out there. And I think Habs is saying, and George, you're saying, it's like, hey, listen, you don't want to get rinsed apart, but we don't know unless we try, because we saw how snappy it was yesterday in the first half. Which I think, why don't we play that way? It can't be that for the full 90, but we can't sit back for for 45 minutes. Chris says, shell up and hope they leave you left alive is a bin strategy. I'm with Josh. Shocker there. And Nikki D says, I disagree with everything Josh has ever said. He's wrong. Smells funny too. Ken told me so. I love you. And damn, I changed my mind. I love shells. And Mike Shane says, when we go too defensive against Coventry, we will hold them down to 4 goals. Too. And Mark Hickton says, Kakachi and Kabore need Smith or Hardy up front. Moore is not fast enough. What do you think of Moore's? And either one can take this. What do you think of Moore's play yesterday, and also missing the shot, which is fine, but not fine. But what do you think of Moore's play so far?
I guess I'll go first here just for a second. Let Habs fill in the stuff I miss. Moore is a defensive juggernaut force out there on the field. I mean, think of all the corners that come in against Wrexham. Moore's just there heading everything 30 yards upfield. I mean, it is amazing to watch. I think he really, really helps us in that way. I think he's also a nice target man up front, and he has obviously scored goals for us and is a real threat up front. He's a little uncoordinated here and there occasionally. He has trouble with the ball at his feet some of the time. I still can't believe he missed that header, because that's something he's usually really good, really pinpoint with those headers.
Yeah.
Maybe the only person better on the whole team than him for that might be Smith. But the thing about Moore is, you watch him play, every minute of the game that goes by, his play is falling off a little bit. He starts so strong every single game, and it just slowly declines, and then really the decline starts to really accelerate, even just 5-8 minutes into the second half, at least.
Do you think that's because we're going too defensive? Because that's the trend right now. Because I agree with you. He's good for more. Chris says Moore is good for 55 minutes. We all can agree on that, I think. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I think that is certainly true. But I mean, if we're going more offensive and he's running more to be our front guy up there every single time, I think he gets tired out even quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
I don't know. What does Habs think about that?
Well, yeah, but when you're defending, I'll ask him. I think he said the same thing. When you're defending, that's when you get more tired. I don't know. Habs, you want to roll in on that too?
So with Moore, he's one of our aerial merchants. He is. So he will get that ball in the air. He'll get you the. He's that big man up front that's going to be the target that everyone is going to try and go after him, because he's going to be able to catch that ball, and nobody else is going to be dealing with it. He's very physical as well with the ball, but he's also does the defensive duties as well that you wouldn't really see with many others. he's able to go back, get the ball out of our box, and he does that every time. He's doing it every time with everything that he's been asked to do. He's doing everything he can do with that. And he's also really good with set pieces as well. So he'll get those. He will aim to get that ball into the net. But we're asking for, because I understand your point. You want a far more attacking football, something with far more press, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
But he isn't that kind of player. He will not be that kind of person that can be able to keep the press going further forward. I mean, he's not.
That's Smith.
That's either Smith or Hardy. They're far more graceful with the ball, and they're able to carry the ball far more better, and they're able to lead. They're able to go ahead with the press, and that's something that Moore just doesn't have. He just does not have that kind of aggressive push towards the front. Plus, his style of play is a bit. I exaggerated yesterday in saying that he has about as much mobility as a scarecrow. So,
Oof.
but he doesn't have that kind of aggressive play, and I think I was the first person who said it as well, and everyone else is noticing it. He fades out after the 60 to 65th minute. You start seeing him fade. He's already reached his absolute peak, and then he goes into an absolute steep decline in performance. And now everyone else is seeing it. I saw it straight away, and you're all starting to see it now as well. And everyone's noticing it, and I'm like, yeah, I told you guys. You have to get Smith on, or you got to get Hardy on around the 60th or 65th minute, because after that point he starts becoming an absolute detriment. After that attempt on that header of that goal on the 71st minute, I said, get him off. He needs to get off now. He needs to go.
I saw
now
you say that in the chat.
Yeah.
He needs to get off at that point, because he's not. He's done at that point.
He's not
any further.
Yeah, he's not that player. Imagine if Moore was 10% faster, was a good dribbler of the ball, and could go the full 80 or 90 minutes. He'd be a $40 million a year Premier League player.
He'd be
$40 million Premier League player.
He wouldn't be playing for Wrexham.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he'd be at Man City, and that's just not who he is. That's not who we have.
All right,
I love him, but that's not who he is.
That's not who he is. That's the point. All right, let's flip the script too. That makes sense too. So we're going into this match against Coventry City. How do we win this match against Coventry City? How do we do that? What do we have to do to win the match? What do we have to do against Cardiff City, against Coventry City? What do we have to do these next two games to win it? What do we expect it to do? What do you think Parkinson is telling the boys? Will he make rotation? Where are we at? Where do we look? What are we looking for the next couple of games? Because it's not going to stop. This November is like crazy. October into November is crazy. What are you thinking?
You want to take this one first, Tabs?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead. This is where I think, because I've said this, especially for the Championship, squad rotation is extremely key, because you've got to use your squad depth to be able to continue going. So, because here's the thing. What's coming after these next set of matches? We've got the international break. So and these games are going to be taken midweek, and then the weekend, and again in the midweek, and we've got cup competition, and then we've got a weekend match, and then we've got another midweek league match, and then we've got another. You've got to use your squad rotation, because otherwise, you've got players like Moore who can barely last a 90-minute match. He's going to get ran to the ground, and he's going to pick up an injury at some point with that kind of play.
Yeah, he's tall. He's going to hurt. Yeah.
And that's why I'm just thinking we may need to. I'm not sure how we're going to deal with Coventry in terms of their press, because they're just going to press hard. They're going to be extremely hard on their press. Lampard has got, I don't know what kind of juju he's put on them to be able to make them mad enough to come forward to us, but I'm thinking at the front we're going to need to start Smith at least. We need someone fast up front to be able to deal with that kind of press.
Because we're going to sit low block, and he's want to be on the break, which is because we're not. Our break is probably not our best asset.
The thing is that whenever we go on transition, we have this weird slow reaction towards going on the fast break. So nothing's happening on the transition. And I noticed it with Hardy. I can't remember which match it was, but Hardy was on the transition. I think it was a bit with QPR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was with QPR.
Yeah, he got the
transition.
turnaround goal from the corner of the box. Yeah.
So there was this moment where Hardy was on the transition. It was literally all the way just on the other side. He just got over into the opposition's box. He got into QPR's box end, and no one was there. They were just standing on the other side. They were still near the goalie box. I'm thinking, Hardy's just running with the ball. He's on his own. Get there. You need to move. But it's going to be hard to see, because Hardy's the best. He's probably the best in terms of dealing with transitions. He's going to be able to carry that ball.
We haven't seen him in weeks, by the way. Weeks. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Was he injured? We don't know. Does anyone know? I mean, would you start George?
Haven't heard anything. I looked too.
Yeah, would you start Hardy over Smith, or if you're going to do that? What's Tuesday going to? Sorry, Wednesday. It's Tuesday. What's Tuesday going to look like, and what's Saturday going to look like? What are we going to do to win these games? Because I think it was Wayne who said it in the chat. We got to stop celebrating draws. I'm not saying I agree with that, but like, what do we do to win these games? What do we like? I mean, granted, these aren't, the Cardiff City game is a winnable match. It's a cup match. And Coventry, what do we have to do to win that game?
I think our current style of play can beat Cardiff. Once again, we have a much deeper bench, better players. Parky's current style of play, I think, can beat Cardiff.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Next Saturday against Coventry, I don't know, maybe start with a little bit more speed up front, but still keep a really tight defense and keep like more on the bench. Maybe, I don't know, maybe start Kakache versus bringing him in. And just start with that threat up front and then bring more in for sort of a target man setup offense halfway through the second half or something. I don't know. I mean, those are our strongest ways of dealing with teams, I think, at the moment.
Yeah. Kelly's frustrated at Parky that can't see Moore's shot after 75 minutes. Mike Shane says against Coventry with their press and offense, we are overmatched. Of course, I thought we would lose against Middlesbrough, so obviously I'm not that bright. Well, none of us are that bright. Welcome to the local pundit. I think we could win the game. I don't know how, but there's levels there too. He walked onto the field last week with the team. He may be in the stand. I don't know what that is.
Probably talking about Hardy.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's a possibility we can win these games. We play up to our competition. I thought we played up to our competition against Middlesbrough, and I think we tapered off and shelled back in. That's my after rewatching the match, I was like, oh, why are we not doing more of this? Why are we not doing more of this? I'm not saying it has to be for the full 90, but just to get another second or third goal. But that's not the game we're playing. So yeah.
And once again, we did have that. I mean, that was an easy header for Moore. I still can't believe he missed that. And once again, we'd be having a completely different conversation. But
even Aaron could have made that with his feet. Yeah, I don't know if you see that.
I would still say Moore would need to come off at the 60 or 65th minute. He can't.
60.
Do you start Moore in that game, or do you bring speed in to begin with and then finish with Moore? What do you think, Habs?
I would say we need someone fast to deal with this kind of thing.
So you start Smith or Hardy, and then bring Moore in?
Yes. I would actually bring.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
More in as the physical component, because he would be able to wear them down. He can get you those fouls and he can get you those defensive duties, and he's very physical with that. But we would need someone who can come in and be able to deal with that relentless press that Coventry is going to have. So I would start Smith up front as our number 9. Yeah. I would have O'Brien up front. I would have Kakache as our wing back. I would have Kabore as our wing back.
Yep.
I don't know what's happening with Sheaf right now. If he's not ready for it, because he's going to be the one who's going to be able to carry the ball forward still. If we can't have him, then we will have to stick with James. James had a good match. He did.
James, phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal.
I think James and Thomason were the two highest rated players on FOTMob.
Were they?
Well, I know Thomason was, at least. I think
James was highest rated.
By the way,
Thomason was
fair play to Parkinson. He knew. Thomas, he knew. He's like, I got you. I got Thomason coming in.
Well, and there's another thing. We've been talking for weeks about why does he leave Moore in so long. Parkinson is a smart guy with over 1,000 games on-field experience in the EFL, and he's got a full staff. They hear this stuff all the time. They see the players all the time. I believe it's not just him being stubborn and stuck in a particular sort of rut of how he does these things. I think there's got to be a more substantial reason why he does this.
I think it's defensive duties. I actually think it's defensive duties. Yeah, because we sit back, we get a little more defensive. That's why. I think it's defensive duties. I think because he's not, he tries to get him on the break. He's not good on the break when we're doing more defense. I think it's the defensive duties to do that. I think that is, I tell you right now, I think it's our Achilles heel. We just go too defensive. Yep. And hold the play. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me throw this out there. We were talking a little bit about the lineup that Habs put out there for the upcoming Coventry game.
Yep.
Imagine playing that sort of winger style, fast transition ball. And then unlike the other games where we sort of leave our guys in and keep doing what we're doing and the other team changes at the half, then right after the half, we come in and move to a crossing in target man thing, or target man sort of set up with Moore as the focus. And that way we're essentially playing two different offensive styles in one particular game, trying to keep Coventry off balance. Maybe that's a viable game plan.
What do you think, Happy K?
I mean, it is. The thing with it, but we would end up turning more defensive. I mean, think about it like this, right? When we go up against teams that are more closer to our level or below us, we are the more aggressive team. We will press you. We will have the possession. We will play the game. We will pass the ball around. We will play tiki-taka. We'll play Gegenpress. We will go up against you, and we will outplay you. We will play beautiful football against you.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going up against Middlesbrough or Leicester, there's no way we can't outplay them.
I thought we did pretty good yesterday for that first half. I thought we outplayed Middlesbrough in the first half.
Yeah,
I think that's my overall argument. At least for the first half, we did, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
To a certain point, we were able to outplay them at certain points. So we were using long passes, try and go through the spaces to which we can get through. You can tell that Middlesbrough were still controlling the game. They weren't controlling the game. They were trying to control possession as much as they can so that you could see them building their press. And eventually you started seeing it further along in the match. And then later on you started seeing it in the second half. They were just becoming relentless.
Yeah.
Towards us.
Wave after wave. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look us when we was off against Birmingham. That match was relatively even because we were just charging at each other. But we're more similar in level. We are. Us and Birmingham are more similar in terms of level, in terms of our level of skill, the level of drill, the level of organization. We were able to fight toe to toe with them on equal ground and be able to play football against them. But if it was up against Middlesbrough, or let's say with Leicester, first of all, we couldn't do that. They were just too good in terms of controlling the ball. They just couldn't finish it in the final third.
I think I've been dinner. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about that, George?
I tend to agree. Once again, I know a couple weeks ago we were talking about this and the level of spend between the various teams, and we're half team value of the teams Habs was just talking about. Yep. I mean, they're tough. I mean, I think Parky's getting a fair bit out of this team already. I do think we are going to get substantially better as we go on. The one thing you hear all the other sort of podcasters from other teams when they talk about Wrexham, they talk about how well drilled Wrexham is.
Yeah.
And the better we get at that, the fewer mistakes we. Oh,
no, you go. Go. Sorry, one second.
the fewer mistakes that we make. I think we are going to start turning some of these losses into draws and draws into wins. I know everybody's sort of against Parky's style of play, but I'm not one of them. I'm a Parky guy when it comes to that. I think for just coming up, the defense-centered, quick transition football that Parky likes to play and going quickly on the attack in short bursts, I think can work for us, at least with the current team we have just starting out in the championship.
I mean, when you look at Derby, we were relentless towards them. We were just pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. And we were making them look like amateurs in comparison to, let's say, what Leicester were. We can play sexy football. We can play that kind of game. And we can do that. We can have that very aggressive press towards teams like that. But we are dealing with different teams that have different styles of play, and especially against teams that are going to be far more aggressive and far more drilled than us. Take this into consideration. We've got the net spend that we've done, like 33.5 mil, 33.2, 33.5, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just think of it as like a down payment to be in this league.
Mm-hmm.
So Ken talked about that a couple weeks ago with us.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a counter argument to that about Southampton coming down and getting the shit kicked out of them and getting relegated. You know what I mean? So, like, I think those are I think those are so boilerplate talking points that we need to address. And it's just like, oh well, whatever. You know, that like it papers over the cracks of just for the fact that we're just happy to be here and money buys everything. You know, granted, I totally agree with you. Money does buy a lot of things. But I think those are boilerplate talking points that kind of dumb down the conversation, where it's like, okay, you know, just because they have X amount of dollars, you have to really think about, you know, there's a cohesiveness that is to certain teams that look at Sunderland, who's up in the second place. It's not going to finish there, you know. I'm just saying, but I think those things need to just that's such to me stuff that yes, it's so obvious to say, but what's the challenge of that? Where it's just like, sure, we're just supposed to accept that. I don't. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's you.
I don't think Parky's accepting it. Once again, I'm not accepting it. I don't think Parky's accepting it. I think Parky is playing the percentages like he always does, and he says, quick transition with an ultra solid, deep defense gives us our statistically best chance of getting a draw or a point or 3 points away. And hopefully it gets us the full 3 points when we're at home against these better teams. I just think that's what he's thinking. I think that's the calculus.
Mm-hmm. I think we might have our best defense right now, by the way. Kakache, Haim, Scar, and Max, and then Issa. I think that's our best back line, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know what you guys think.
I like Brunt. I mean,
you do.
Yeah. I was just devastated that he went out. Oh, and there's another thing. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what Parky was trying to do. I know in chat during the watch along, a bunch of us were talking about the substitutions and when to handle all this different stuff. I think Parky's game plan for that game against Middlesbrough got thrown a bit out of the window when he had to use up a substitution at 22 minutes because he had to get Brunt off.
I'll go to you, Habs, so she'll read some of the chat real quick. I don't understand why Parky continues to sub at 85 minutes, at the 85-minute mark for Smith for more. Previously with Broadhead, doesn't allow them to get into the groove and flow of the game. That's agreeable. JB65 comes in. What's for dinner, my friend? How are you? Even Burnley won today. The three teams who went up are all out of the relegation zone. Ipswich didn't get their first win until November in the Prem last season. That's kind of my point. And not to say that Habs is wrong, but traditionally Habs is right, 100%. I agree with that. And Nick Jackson says, we can't play that style for 90 minutes, meaning taking on the waves of attack. Look at Saturday's match. We will have to be there for the entire match against Coventry. And Chris likes Brunt too, by the way. Sorry, Haps, go ahead. Just want to get through those.
Yeah, what I was actually going to say is that the down payment to be in this league is for us to have the quality type of players to build a completely new core squad to be able to be.
Is Sean's
to
free
then,
transfer windows? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, these are basically a new core squad. We don't have the same squad that we had in the previous 3 seasons or the last 4 seasons. They're completely gone. We have almost hardly anyone left from the National League.
Yep.
All the way up until then, all the way up until League One, we've had effectively the same squad with additions. Now we have a completely new squad that is doing all the work with the old squad, with some of the old players.
Mm-hmm.
Being like the additions there, but they're going to have to take their time to become more organized, more drilled, and more cohesive, and be more in sync with each other in terms of how they play with each other. Because these players that we've got, they have completely different play styles that they're far more used to dealing with. But we will get there. There's nothing really bad. And in the case of Southampton, those guys are in a doom spiral.
Yeah.
They have been severely demoralized their entire team has been completely demoralized ever since they got into the Premier League. They were kicked around. They were everyone's whipping boy. They were just there to.
And their 2 best players, Dibbling, and the other kid went to Fernandez, went to West Ham, who's getting his ass kicked again this season. So I get that. You're totally right. Yeah.
They were everyone's whipping boy. They were. They are the squad that everyone. Whenever anyone went to Southampton, it is a great way to get some points in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Great way to come out with some 3 points. Or they were the first team to get relegated as well. They had only had 11 points.
Well, no, they got more points than Derby. Derby has still 11 points. They still own that.
They may have had 13 or something, but no, it wasn't good. It was ugly. It was an ugly, painful year for their fans.
Yeah. But remember, we went into that match. Sorry, Heps, and sorry, George. We went into that match like, oh, it's Southampton. We should have won that game. That's, I think, my friend. When we say Southampton, that game, we should have won. We should have all 3 points. We should have had one.
Playing parky ball.
Look at this. They're close to the relegation zone right now.
I think I'll tell you where they are right now. I'll tell you where they're at. They are in. They're in 20th place. They have 12 points. They are 3 points off of the relegation zone. Sheffield Wednesday with the -6 minus because of the 12. Norwich City, Sheffield Wednesday, and Blackburn, and then Southampton. So we're right there. We're not that far off, by the way. But I still think if we win 3 games in a row, we could be okay. But this is what's so crazy and great about this league too.
They're still demoralized. Still demoralized. They still have not gotten over the fact that the way they were effectively the way they were affected in the Premier League, where they were just basically beaten to a pulp. Now they're here. They think, okay, they get their first win over us. Cool. We've only just come into the league and we barely scratched the surface. We're still ambitious. We're going to keep going forward. Yep. You guys have just come down, and now everyone else's whipping boy now here in the Championship.
Yep.
They're in a doom spiral. They are right.
That's
now.
an ownership issue too.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And Mike wants to, but Jesse put this in twice. I'm going to read it out. Then we're getting close to time here, everyone, too. And it's great to have the Ring and Rant. Listen, I have done the Ring and Rant show before, so this is fantastic. Have you both come in and have your say, which is great. Thank you, George, who's off in the middle of, on an island somewhere, and Habs is doing his bits. Jesse says Coventry is a well-paid management recruiting staff, and they're probably studying Wrexham last 4 to 5 matches. They'll be ready for us, so we'll need to be unpredictable on October 31st. Sorry. Well, let's end on that. What makes us? Well, I said, all right, Tuesday, what do you expect? And then next Friday, what do you expect? Those are quick turnaround matches. What do you guys expect on those two? And we'll get us out of here on that.
I expect us to be able to beat Cardiff. We're better than Cardiff.
Yep.
I expect it to be an absolute battle. I think you said the game was Friday night. We're the solo game on Friday night, I think.
We are the Halloween game. Yep.
Yeah. That's going to be just brutal. I think one thing that we have in our favor, maybe a little bit, is I think our ability to be much more physical on the ball compared to Coventry. I'm not sure if that's going to play out that way, but once again, when you hear other teams and other podcasters talk about Wrexham, that is something that they say is difficult. I heard it again this afternoon. Some of the Borough podcasters were talking about that exact thing as they were breaking down the game against Wrexham, saying that that's something that they were not really prepared to deal with, and it's one of the things that led to them doing so poorly in the game against us. So maybe we're just out there going as fast as we can in their face, then change it up at maybe minute 55 or 60, come up with something a little bit different, keep them on their back foot, and just press all the way to the end of the game and see if that'll stick. That's all I got. That's all I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Tabs, last words to you.
I mean, we're going to have to get ourselves. I mean, we can deal with Cardiff. I reckon we'll be around 85% strength. We're going to have an 85% strength squad to be able to just put them down, and instead of a 100% strength squad. So we're going to have to use some of our players that we wouldn't really use in the league matches in that cup.
We don't have much rotation because we have injuries, and we have injuries, and we have Cody who can't play because he's suspended. So yeah, for sure.
Wait, he's suspended?
Oh, not Cody. Sorry. What else is his name? Doyle. Thank you very much, George. Thank you, Doyle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we will be able to use some of the people we wouldn't have had to use. And look at Scar. I mean, he was hardly used all of League One until really the end, and now he's come in and he's starting to show the quality that he has for this. And I think he may end up becoming more of a mainstay than we think.
I agree.
So that's going to be one of our. And look at the defensive duties he was doing. He was stopping so many balls from coming in. You could see the intelligence he was using in terms of stopping those balls.
He was fantastic, and I think that he's probably the best. He's probably the best at that position for us, in my opinion.
He does love stopping balls, getting close to the goal line. I mean, you look at look how the final, or at least the game against Charlton ended last season. That was Scar, just all in, giant body, just crushing in there, knocking the ball over the goal to end the game. I mean, that's one thing I like about Scar. We talk about physicality. Scar defines that in the back line.
Physicality, and he imposes himself out there. He's a big unit. You're not there, he's, have the guys around him that are faster. I think that is actually probably, as I look at it right now, that's our best back five. What's up, Free Bugs? How you doing? Good to see you. All right, we just get into the hour mark here, but that's been a good Ring and Rant Sunday show. I'm happy you guys came in and had your say. Let's make sure we keep this going for the week. George, last words to you, and last words to have, so get us out of here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to chime in here a little bit. I'm just all alone on an island, hanging out, dealing with a new roof. So we'll see how all that goes with the storms coming in the next few days. But I'm looking forward to the games. I think it'll be good. Once again, I think we can beat Cardiff. Coventry, I don't know. I think we can if we switch it up a little bit. That's one thing that I haven't enjoyed the past few weeks is other teams always come out with a different game plan for their second half, and we just stay exactly the same. That's the one thing that's frustrated me a little bit.
Well, shit, well, it's good. Well, take care of yourself out there on your island and the roof. I hope you're okay. Habs, your last ones?
We'll be able to deal with Cardiff, but we've got to be prepared for anything with Cardiff anyway, because they're going to be up for it. They're going to be really up to want to go against us. So we're going to have to just put them out of their misery, because they need to be put down. They do. So, and we need to let them know where their place is. But with Coventry, we're going to need a lot of speed to deal with them, because they're going to have very clean passes. They're going to be very strong in possession. They're going to be very strong in the press. They're going to play beautiful football, and they can play beautiful football, and they're going to make us. They could run circles around us without any kind of worry, and they've got the firepower to finish it. So we're going to need to hit them quick. We will off the bat.
I agree with all that too. You better go have a different transition than we did with Middlesbrough. It's gonna be fun to watch. You know, it's gonna also be torture. We're gonna pull our hair out. It's gonna be fun. That's why we're on this whole journey, which is great. So I appreciate everyone coming in on a Sunday. I'm sorry Ken isn't here. He's working. You know, he's been in makeup the whole time, but he just didn't get himself ready. So we're here. George, Habs, thanks for coming in. Who's gonna get us out of here?
I did it last time I was on. We'll leave that honor to Habs, I think.
Okay, Habs, you gonna get us out of here?
Well, thanks for letting us be on this show, and thanks for everyone in the comments as well, in the chat, and on that bombshell. Good night.
Good night.
Night, guys.